Hello and welcome. My name's David Wortley, and I'm very pleased to welcome you to this expert panel discussion on the subject of Metaverse, which is a really hot topic. Before we get underway, and I ask the panelists to each briefly introduce themselves, I just want to say a few words about IORMA and what the objectives of this session are. Well, the IORMA Commerce Consumer Centre is a neutral resource for businesses and governments, and it recognises the need to understand and respond to the ways in which the 8 billion global consumers are changing in the products and services they want and need, and the ways in which they want to obtain them. And these changes are happening globally, driven by developments in society, in business, and in technology. And the topics that are chosen for our online panel discussions are from IORMA's Horizon Scanning, its surveys and its research. Now, in all of the platforms that you may have joined in, you can type in comments and questions. And in fact, we've already had some comments and questions before we've even started. So I'm very pleased about that. So we now get underway, and I'm just going to ask each of our panelists just to very briefly introduce themselves before we get down to the hard topic. And what you will see while I'm doing this is that our panel members will disappear from screen, and I'll just focus on the one person I've asked to introduce you. Haneen, would you like to say a few words about who you are and what MEXT is?
Yeah, thank you, David, for giving me this opportunity to introduce MEXT. MEXT is a B2B metaverse platform, and I am Haneen Moubak, co-founder and CEO of MEXT. The platform is running since 2022, and our objective is to give experiences, B2B experiences on our platform. We have customer from the fashion industry. We run more than 20 events with fashion industry, and also customer from the tech industry. Typically, you can, when you are in our platform, we make sure that you have stands, you have many experiences inside the metaverse. And this is topic very important to understand what we wanted to do with metaverse.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'm now going to remove you and bring in Charlotte Roberts. Charlotte, would you like to introduce yourself, say who you are, and just a few brief words about BrandLab 360?
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Charlotte. I'm the Enterprise Account Director at BrandLab 360. We are the global leaders in Web3 solutions, providing services and support to all industries, whether they are smaller businesses or enterprise clients who are wanting to enter the metaverse. Our technology can be utilised across all business functions as well, not just on a direct-to-consumer basis. And our bespoke 3D environments are also accessible within a web browser, so it's got total accessibility to all. We are able to provide a fully immersive true Web3 experience for our clients and their customers by offering this. We identified the issue that humans are actually wired to be interconnected. The way we currently do business online is not actually akin to human nature. So we create those fully immersive experiences to engage and elevate the current way we do business online.
Thank you very much for that, Charlotte. And now, Stephanie. You're muted, Stephanie.
This is actually one thing we want to fight. So hi, my name is Stephanie, and I'm CPO and General Manager of Room 3D. And we fight basically Zoom fatigue. We are very immersive video conferencing experience. I think the only ones are bringing the 3D cutout from us, so really the people into the metaverse with their video feeds. And I'm really excited to show you a little bit later more about that. We have also B2B clients. We have a B2B arm, and there we're serving in the moment governments. We have just delivered a mental health clinic, and actually also work with a lot of banks now for banking solutions where customers really want to see the trusted person in front of them as their real equal.
Okay, thank you very much. And now, last but not least, Andrew.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody from London. I am MD of Deer Hague, which is a company that manages and creates derivative assets that are fidgetals between NFTs and the metaverse for wealthy asset owners in the luxury space, as well as working with luxury brands from apparel to automotive and jewelry. In that space where we advise at a very high level, strategically build budgets, and we actually do the creations with them as co-partners to actually launch and attract these incredible customers and really pull them into the metaverse and into NFTs as a mechanic to have long-term engagement, spend with the clients, with the brands, or with the assets via various mechanics like NFTs and working strongly within the metaverse.
Okay, thank you for that, Andrew. I'm sure we'll have some discussion about NFTs, and maybe quite a few people joining us today may not know what NFTs are, so that will be a good thing to discuss. So now, what I'd like to do now is to give each of our panel members an opportunity to show our delegates their view of what the metaverse looks like. So you get a flavor of the different varieties. And by way of an introduction, I'd like to show you an old video just to prove the point that the metaverse is not something that is new. It's something that has been around for a good few years. So I'm going to show you a little video clip, and I apologize for the poor quality because it was recorded some 15 years ago, of how the metaverse was used at the Serious Games Institute when we set up a model of the Serious Games Institute and a virtual auditorium to host virtual events and a range of different activities. So this is what the metaverse looked like in around about 2007. So what you saw there was essentially a model of the Serious Games Institute, and my avatar just walking through that space and showing you some of the rooms that existed with the Serious Games Institute. Now things have moved on a lot since then, and I'm now going to give Haneen an opportunity to show some of the what you can do in modern day. And I'm going to introduce that by playing a little short clip about the next metaverse.
What do you need to do? Go to Mex.app. Make sure you create your avatar before you join. On the left is the epicenter of the entire event, Live Session Room, the place where you will be able to watch the live stream of the event. In the room to the right of the live session is VOD and Replies room. It's for anyone who missed or wants to rewatch the presentation from the event. Then there is the press room and the networking center. Of course, it is possible to be in contact with all participants thanks to the event chat. I invite you to visit one of our digital stands. Here you will find interesting visuals and presentation, and you will be able to interact or request a meeting with a booth representative. Here you have access to the exhibitor's showroom. You can meet avatars and connect with them. And now something I really wanted to show you. And it's the catwalk. Do you want to show us your avatar? Go to the catwalk and introduce yourself.
Hi, Annie. Well, I think that gives a good flavour of an example of how the metaverse works. So I'm going to hand the floor now to you to tell us a little bit more about MEX and particularly your work with the Fashion Council. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah. I mean, this video that you presented is really great. That from 27, we can see the gap, of course, in terms of technology since 27. In terms, of course, of connectivity, means in terms of technology also. And today, with the connectivity that we have, with the laptop that we have, with the progress of technologies, we can deliver better experiences than 27. It's not about just an avatar walking, it's more than that. It's how to deliver, this is what Charlotte also explained it, how to deliver experiences that make the workers' lives, at least for our business case, because we are B2B, we are working on B2B experiences, how to make it more easier. You don't have to travel a lot. You have more time for your private life, but also how to be more efficient and how to learn. And this is what we are doing with, for example, you mentioned the Metaverse Fashion Council. We created from this Metaverse a knowledge center, means it's not only about events, it's also about having a knowledge center where people can come, can meet, can expo their product, can exchange with other professionals, can compare products, can organize their events and attend events. And this will help the community, to progress faster, will help also the community to deliver more products and to collaborate together. This is one of the main objectives, is knowledge, having this knowledge center open for everybody. The second objective is also how to collaborate on products, means this 3D space could be also a lab, could be also the way to make people collaborate on the same product, or for artists, the way to progress quickly, to show their art to the world. And this is really what we are implementing with the Metaverse Council, is to have this Metaverse fashion base where people can, where all the fashion ecosystem and industry can meet, organize events, but also learn, progress in terms of knowledge, and collaborate together to bring to the market new products.
Okay, thanks for that, Hanine. Can I just ask you about NFTs? Whether NFTs are non-fungible tokens? Would you just sort of say, does that, because that seems to me to be the fashion industry lends itself very well to people buying digital assets? Could you just say briefly if MEX addresses that, or is it in that your roadmap?
Yeah, it's in our roadmap, means we started first by the infrastructure, by giving an infrastructure to the industry, means creating this place, creating the tools, creating the community where they can meet. And now how this community, how this DAO, how this decentralized, community can work together and also can communicate together and also manage this community step by step. NFT is our program in 2023 through the GEMS program. MFC announced their GEMS program. The GEMS program is 5 gems that will be distributed as NFT, and also will be the way to progress in the community, to win knowledge. When you win knowledge, you have more gems. You can also, have exchange those gems to have products. You can also get those gems, to have more power inside the community for voting. Means this is something that we are working on it. And I have to say it's really exciting, but this is the second step after building this infrastructure together the community, to make them collaborate together.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Just as an aside, I'm happy to see in our chat area, our comments area, that David Burden has joined us, and I would like to pay tribute to David Burden of Dayton, also Dave Taylor of Imperial College in London, who have been involved in the metaverse longer than I have, and they played quite an important part in the development of what we did at the Serious Games Institute. So I think David is in the USA at the moment, so thank you for joining us, David. I'm now going to move on to BrandLab 360 and Charlotte Roberts, and I'm going to introduce her by playing the video clip that she sent. Just bear with me.
BrandLab 360 offers an innovative digital software solution, originally designed to streamline the wholesale fashion industry, consisting of an intelligent omni-channel back office, bespoke virtual reality experiences, and an immersive digital trade show and fashion network. It has since been developed exponentially, so that we are now able to service all industries and utilise the platform in all aspects of business, particularly direct-to-consumer experiences and online shopping within the metaverse. BrandLab 360 was one of the early adopters of metaverse technology. As metaverse service providers, we can enable companies of all sizes to elevate and grow within the metaverse.
Very nice video, Charlotte. So I'm now going to give you a chance to talk about what BrandLab 360's view of the metaverse is and what you're trying to achieve. As you can see, there's a difference between MEXT and BrandLab 360. One of the features that you've incorporated is online commerce. So over to you.
Thank you. Okay, so with regards to the metaverse and how we view it as a company, we see it as the next generation of internet, or the next iteration of the internet, and it's going to change the way in which we all consume the internet. Looking at the evolution of this, Web 1 was only a read-only iteration of the internet, meaning that we just, without able to contribute to it, we were just able to consume information. It then evolved with the introduction of the ability to publish our own information on the internet. So at that point, we could then create websites, contribute to it via social medias and other forms of platforms. Now, Web 3 continues to encompass all of those things, but in an elevated way within virtual reality. We can now use 3D graphics and environments, and also avatars, so that you are fully immersed within an environment. So that is what we encapsulate as a whole with our offerings. We provide an encompassing of the end-to-end process for all business functions. As you said, David, we do offer, predominantly direct-to-consumer experiences to provide the evolution of online commerce, and we are at the forefront of that by enhancing the customer experience. We create 3D virtual environments, not just 360-degree photographs, so the customer can be fully immersed in an experience, whether that's as a first-person avatar or actually as a photorealistic avatar of themselves as well. Using unique networking technology then, those users are actually unlimited and fully accessible within a web-based browser. So on a global scale, people can actually interact together online, whether that is in a shopping experience together, during conferences and events, during education, recruitment, any sector possible, even if it's internal staff training, for example, within a business function. So the ability to actually foster a community using this technology in that communication element, even via live video chat within a 3D environment, allow people to be fully immersed in the same way that you would in real life. Even with instant access to files, to upload, to share with each other, to really connect together basically in an environment online without the need to physically attend that particular location. Our Web3 solutions also encompass gamification. It's a really important factor in harnessing the power of that, where actually consumers are then able to interact with a game or a task. Humans love to complete tasks and they seek out these experiences to actually engage and achieve an extrinsic reward. Going back to online commerce, for example, that's usually delivered in the form of a discount code. Consumers can then redeem that against their purchase. So it's an absolute elevation of how we currently do business online. And, you know, even in terms of visitor uptake, they spend up to 12 times longer in a virtual experience online as they would to a generic current e-commerce site.
Thank you very much. Can I just ask you about the look and the feel of the metaverse? Because clearly the graphics are quite impressive. So, how much work is required to create those environments? And do you do this typically to customize it for an individual customer to match their brand?
Yes, absolutely. So our environments are all photorealistic, 3D rendered. So rather than it looks like a photograph because it is so obviously beautifully rendered, but it is in fact a 3D immersive environment that you actually go into to experience together or for a sole experience, depending on the requirements of the brand. Yes, they do take, you know, a little while to make in terms of the effort that goes into them. And we've been developing this platform for about 7 years now. So, you know, at the pinnacle of this, we are able to deliver these beautiful environments.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now, I'm now going to move on to Stephanie Palomino. Stephanie, it's your chance to strut your stuff, and you're going to do it in a slightly different way. But before you do, I'm just going to play an introductory video that you sent me about your platform.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Palomino, General Manager and CPO of Rooms 3D. What does my metaverse look like? It is so user-centric that people are pleasantly surprised by their needs being met, with them barely having realized. It puts experience design at the forefront to enable true connections and meaningful relationships. And of course, it needs to be fun. It shows empathy for the user's path as they learn to live within a new frontier. It's open to all people and breaks down borders, regardless of their ability to purchase expensive hardware or subscribe to a service. This is the Web3 future we are building at Rooms 3D and Tomorrow Foundation. We call it the Internet of Life.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Stephanie. I'm now going to give you center stage. You're going to do it in a slightly different way. So you're going to share your screen and actually join us within your platform. So over.
So thank you so much, Dave. And here we go. It should work now. And maybe, Dave, you have to maybe click one more button. So let's see. You have to, I think, swap the screen. I think you have to do this. Or is this working, everybody? I still see myself. Okay, yeah, I think I take it from here. So actually, Room, the big difference is like what I said before, what you just saw in the video is you're basically really with your video cutout in the 3D environment. And when we talk about 3D environment, it's the same. We are here, our own engine. It's completely live 3D real-time rendered, and we combine it actually with your live video cutout and give you a very beautiful cinematic experience. And I think this is the thing, it's like a lot about when you, thank you, now you can also see it. So we see me here basically live now in Room, so see me twice. So you see it's no green screen, no fancy stuff or technology is required. I'm here with my MacBook and the integrated camera, and we can already give you this amazing experience. You might see my reflection on the table. There's some depth of field here applied. It's all real time. You see my cutout and my video here on the bottom reflected. And this gives people really a very immersive experience into the room. And we have built, and you can see it, it's live in the browser. And I'm prepared kind of different rooms for you. So here we are in wonderful Paris in the evening. And I prepared also here for the Christmas season, here some great environment to meet colleagues and friends for the holidays. Or you want to be in a bit more warmer environment, we have a very cool clubhouse here for our founders. We have here a keynote hall where you can have multiple listeners for more educational purposes or speeches. Here a little bit more romantic here in the Mediterranean room, where we have here even a pool in the background. And we have a whiteboard application also, so you can here also make some creative sessions and work together with our colleagues. Yeah, so we have here more like a forum for a keynote speech or a boardroom. And then I think that's for all the broadcasters and people very exciting to want to make a quick interview. So you can have here like a Saturday night show on your own. And these are basically our rooms. We provide for the end consumers with 2 different price plans and are ready to go. So we, of course, make customized solutions for B2B customers. So like I said before, I'm the government business and banking. So we talk with a lot of different big organizations in the moment who are totally excited to have really themselves and their really their real presence in their 3D context they can design by themselves and really talk to their clients, their patients or other customers. So we see this, like what Charlotte said also, yeah, this is the next level of the internet. And we call it a little bit different. We call it the Internet of Life because we think like it must be human-centric and it's about bringing people together as lifelike as possible, one click away, accessible for everybody. So this is the reason it's in the browser, one click away, also on your mobile phone or on your iPad. So
okay, thank you very much for that, Stephanie. That was very impressive, and I don't think I've seen another platform that uses the webcam to capture you within your personality within a virtual environment. So typically, how many people could you accommodate in one of your rooms?
So in the moment, it's 16. But we also increase by 20 very soon. We are in the prototyping of the 24, and then we will have different levels where you can have participation, right? Because there's a moment it's a little bit limited how many people you really want to see at the same time. So there will be viewer options, and also we work a lot with who is in the view and who gets streamed, and this gives us the ability to increase this number. But like I said, this is like really our founder, Shiva Jolly, he basically invented real-time 3D. So he was really the first one with his engine who made that possible, the Cry engine. And we built it for Room in the last 3 years, our own native engine who is like optimized on the browser in the combination with the video cutout and WebRTC.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And now, last but not least, I'm going to introduce Andrew Grant-Super with a little video clip. He's different from all the other panelists because he's not directly at the moment involved in the delivery of a solution. So this is the video clip to introduce Andrew.
Picture perfect eternity. What if forging immortality could be possible? What if your DNA could be preserved forever? Welcome the arrival of the first ever human DNA time capsule. We are perpetual.
Oh, that's very interesting, Andrew. Would you like to now share with us a little bit more information about yourself and your company and what your view of the metaverse is and what value your organization yourself can add?
Well, we are different to the others. So just to be clear for the people watching, we have 2 separate sides to our particular business. One of them is to deal with ultra high net worths, billionaires. that is through the back door of one of my companies, which happened to be a super yacht experiential technology company that now is linking to the metaverse with regards to experiences that we're giving the super yacht owners and their guests at the end of the day, and also carrying out various initiatives in the yachting industry. Very separate to that is Dear Hague, my other company, and we are an NFT management company who handle everything end to end with regards to a solution where we actually create the projects and partner up with luxury brands, consumer brands. We're also working in anything from the jewelry to the automotive, apparel industry, and luxury assets like fine art. And what we're doing is creating phygitals that live both in the real world in a digital format that's physical for them, as well as a replica, a digital twin that has its own life on board the metaverses. So we're not the layer of infrastructure in metaverse. We're not the layer in terms of these solutions, which are very good B2B solutions and B2B2C solutions for consumers. What we do is we come up with both strategic influence and direction to luxury brands and also to asset owners. Think of us as derivative asset managers in that way, where we actually study the behavior, the usability. Because of my immersive tech background, I work with some of the 200 most amazing immersive tech rendering 3D designers, which we're bringing into the metaverse, which has its challenges, but very interesting. And on an average day, you'd see me talking to various luxury brands you know and love, talking at strategic levels, talking about the direction and how we're actually going to take pretty much what the other panelists said is we're taking them now into the next evolution of the internet. But also I believe that areas such as augmented reality will build bridges between the real world and how we want to manage what can be a new relationship and new experiences with consumers or business clients for that matter, as some of the other people have shown in their incredible platforms, to start developing whole new strategies. And what we do is we don't just strategize, we actually execute and lead that. We fix the budgets, we bring in the rendering, we bring in the whole management, and of course a whole NFT structuring with our NFT network and partnerships such as, you know, auction houses and what have you, and actually building the whole strategy end to end. So we pretty much hold hands with major brands and ultra high net worths in terms of what we do.
Okay, can I just ask you to explain what NFTs are? Because I only came across NFTs and non-fungible tokens only several months ago. So there may be some people amongst our delegates who don't understand what they are and how they work and how the technology works for that. Could you go into a bit of detail about NFTs?
Sure. Depends on the audience, but I'll take an old school approach, which will help you understand better. Tokenization has been with us for decades. Sales promotion in the 1980s, the American Express card, the Tesco Club card, whatever you want to have a look at, to give people added value and utilization. There was a form of tokenization behind that. Tokenization in this modern world has come in the form of, obviously, you know, tokenization with NFTs, which really think of it as a mechanic. What is an NFT doing? Well, first of all, its claim is that it's registering a particular smart contract with covenants and legal speak with regards to that, and unique coding and numbering to every single item that's ever purchased an NFT. And it could be literally a cinema ticket, instead of buying a normal cinema ticket, all the way through to a luxury asset. And it could be real and tied to that, something physical, something phygital that's a mixture of both, or something that's just digital, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which was one of the first founding kind of initiatives to use NFTs. The concept is it gets registered on a ledger. That ledger is a blockchain. You choose a blockchain you want to be on, or it might be a de facto anyway, because you're using what's called a marketplace. You probably heard the word OpenSea. And essentially you're creating an NFT certificate, a token of an actual product itself, an asset, which could be digital, could be real world. And obviously it's non-transferable in the sense of, other than you can sell it for profit, but the point is it's registered on that ledger. Where the real, if you say what's the future of NFTs, it's just a mechanic in tokenization to register a transaction and register it on a ledger. And of course, the complexity of blockchain means that it's highly encrypted, it's hard to fraud the system, etc., etc. But also it's created a way of tangible value notification against an actual asset that may not have been able to be sold or auctioned or sell on in the real world, or not without great difficulty. And now we've got platforms with the Metaverse and NFT marketplaces. We're now dealing with thousands of people and get access to your art, to your objects, to the physical, to the digital, where we can now trade with regards to NFTs that are predominantly linked to cryptocurrencies that you often hear about, like ETH, which is part of Ethereum blockchain, and several other types of cryptocurrencies. So that's one could go on a lot, but it's very useful and it's here to stay. Although my belief is the concept of NFT, well, the phraseology will lose it. It'll just be tokenization. But for now, it helped people understand that it was one of a kind in a ledger with regards to that.
Okay, yeah, that's helped me a lot, because I was under the impression that non-fungible tokens were primarily digital assets that you purchase. So, for example, if in a mixed fashion industry event you saw an avatar wearing a particular costume, you could purchase that, and you could have that purchase registered, so you become the owner of it, and you could sell that at a future. I didn't understand or appreciate that actually it also applies to physical objects, to register yourself as an owner.
It's been very important because, for example, with art, it's another layer to actually validate and register the value of something. Same with rare automobiles. You know, in some way it becomes a ledger that wasn't there before. I mean, you could argue and say, well, paying into a bank account is a form of ledger to prove that you've paid, but there's some value in it being in a blockchain ledger because you've also got access to community and their crypto wallets. So it's like having a bank account or something, I don't know, and having a load of sales people at the other end. That would be a frightening thought, but in this case it's more like-minded communities, so it fits very nicely. It gives us a way of just transacting very quickly. The way they want to make their money, funnily enough, the NFT marketplaces, is they hope they're going to be like the PayPal of all the metaverses. Like, they're doing billions of transactions a day and they take a little bit off that in terms of commission. So in theory it could be the new PayPal, which it will do. That's where it will get to.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We're starting to get some questions in now. I'm going to try and give each of the panelists an opportunity to respond to questions that are most relevant to their particular offering, but in no particular order. We've had a question here from Dr. Basil Skip from Bournemouth University, asking about what skills will a user experience design consultant need to work with a metaverse client. Haneen, I'm going to ask you that. Maybe give your views on the kind of expertise it needed to effectively customize a metaverse with different graphics and different experiences.
You mean, just I wanted to make sure that I understood the question. Means that what kind of expertise we need to customize the metaverses, or?
Yes, to create the user experience, which is a combination of the look and feel of the metaverse and its functionality.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. This is what and personally, the beauty of the metaverse means you don't have one discipline. You don't have only having 3D or only having how to make a backend, a great backend, flexible one, or only how to manage this 3D space. You know, the metaverse is not only about 3D. It's not only about having beautiful places where you can customize it. Of course, you can change the 3D, make it, but how to create life inside this metaverse means how to create great experiences where people can get value from it. This is the bigger question, and this is also another discipline. Means having 3D graphic guys. We have this is a great expertise that you can find it. Now the bigger question is how to make this 3D place working. You know, it's like a building. If you don't create interactivity, if you don't organize events, if you don't, the building is empty, isn't it? Or maybe people will go once and then they leave. They will never go because they have already seen everything. This is why it's very important when you create a metaverse, you need a community. The community is the heart of the metaverse itself. Means a metaverse should be created around a community, around a purpose, around an ecosystem. And then when you create it, typically the fashion industry wanted to have this place for having, collaborating together, but also for a purpose of having a greener and more sustainable life. Because the industry, the fashion industry, I mean, in terms of green, they are still behind, and this is why for them the metaverse is also the opportunity to have a greener industry. As soon as you have this place, you have this community, you need to think about how to animate this community. What kind of experience? Okay, for example, for fashion industry is creating those skins, is creating those avatars, is exchanging about the latest trends, about the materials, and creating stands with different experiences and different products. They are also organizing events to share falls, to have the last collection like in physical life, and also they are linking the physical experiences to the digital experiences to make sure, we in the last event that we did, we have many softwares now to help you to create the clothes, to create this fashion clothes, to change, to try, to without even cutting anything, without any physical experience. And as soon as they have their model, they can share it, they can do marketing, they can test it, and they can, have it inside this metaverse to experience it before even going and make it physically.
Yeah, I think you put your finger on giving people a reason to go there. So it's a persistent environment that people don't necessarily just go there for one experience. It's a place where they can conduct transactions. And if I make an observation about Second Life and where we use it at the Serious Games Institute, one of the factors I think behind the slow acceptance of Second Life was the fact that if you go into lots of environments, you wouldn't find anybody there because they got no reason to actually go there. Thank you very much for that, Haneen. I'm now going to bring in Charlotte to just talk about the answer to another question that we've had, and it's to do with headsets and the need to use headsets to access the metaverse. Would you like to give your thoughts about headsets? Of course, you don't need headsets to access BrandLab 360, but can you use headsets to access BrandLab 360? And what would the difference be?
Yes, of course. We can optimize our experiences for use with the headsets, but it's actually something that forms a barrier to access. So not everybody owns a headset, not everybody wants to invest in one, or maybe understands how to use one either. So the beauty of our platform is that it's accessible within a web browser with no need for any apps or downloads ahead of using it. And that's something that, kind of opposes the need then for a headset. You can be fully immersed in that 3D environment without using one. So not necessarily needed. The difference in having to download an app to actually use it, again, creates that barrier to access. You are still able to be in a 3D environment, interact with product or, any assets within there, pick them up, look at them in more detail, collaborate with each other as a community, with other avatars, or via live video chat as well, face to face. So it essentially for us blocks a bit of entry for users. So we want to encompass and create full accessibility for all.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We've also got quite a few comments, and please keep them coming. It's sad to see that we also have comments from outside that are unwelcome, and I do apologise. For that. But I'm going to Stephanie now, and Stephanie, to ask a question. We've had some impressive remarks from Nick Higgett to say cool real-time reflections. I'm presuming those are the reflections of you on the table. But the question that Richard's asked is he'd like to see volumetric in 3D as the next iteration of or something like Code Myco. I don't know what Code Myco is, but have you got any thoughts about the future or the potential for things like holographic or representations of?
Yeah, we are working on different things to make actually even the 3D cutout, but that's more R&D, so I cannot talk about this too much. But we're working on the volume, so that's something to come. But when I can pick up a little bit on the UX question a second, sorry, but it's really my heart beats for that. It's like I think the expertise for UX in the future is combining a lot of different kind of expertise fields. You know, you have to be like kind of a gamer. You know, you have to think about how people get engaged. You know, that means on the one hand, the contradiction between people love to explore, so you need to give them freedom, but you need to give them a cinematic and storytelling framework. And I think that's kind of like the balance you have to find between what is the kind of like engaging and thrilling storyline, and this is like thinking in a dramaturgy when you bring people into a new space, and how then they can explore by themselves and make it their own, you know. And I think this is the reason customization or being able to leave there a footprint and the kind of the reflection is the first thing, you know. And the next thing is like you touch something, you make a sound. So really how you make an impact, that the user can make impacts in the space. And this, to think this through as a designer, this is, I think, the next evolutionary step.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'm now going to Andrew to ask him to deal with his next question. It's about, and I'm going to try and show it on the screen. So this is about what industries are going to adapt to the metaverse first. Who are the early adopters, and who's going to resist the longest? Andrew, give me your thoughts on that.
There's two ways of looking at it. There's the benefit, which industries would benefit greatly with regards to metaverse versus who's actually running at the speed of light into it without any strategy, but well-intentioned. So, for example, we're getting very used to the fashion industry getting involved in it, but I have to say the numbers so far don't justify them getting out of bed in the morning, to be quite brutal about it. But you can see the medium and longer term advantages, because as what we've all been alluding to, and actually one of your chat people alluded to this is all great, but you're going to live and die by the narrative, the storytelling, and the social media context of what's now Web3, new ways of communicating. You'll live and die by that as a consumer brand, and some will get it right and some will get it very wrong, just like Web 2.0 was. So the fashion industry and retail generally can make a lot of good use of it, simply because it's another place to engage the next market coming through, such as the tail end of the millennials, and now, you know, Generation Z coming through, and in 5 years' time, they'd be the equivalent of what millennials are now. So this is the next new market. You have to keep adding to that. Where it's going to be very crucial, you're going to find, though, is in the industrial end, the B2B end, which a lot of these guys allude to, is all of a sudden, like, for example, in my yachting industry, you can work not just remotely, but your brand can be remote, and you can actually reach people through the experiences and beautiful rendering and 3D and consumer engagement and client engagement in B2B with regards to the metaverse. So it's giving you a shop window that you never really had before with an e-commerce site, which frankly, looking at it in comparison, is very flat and static and very repetitive with regards to, you can only see so much information. It's a cross between brochureware and nice, you know, e-commerce ways to pay. Here you can actually, if you're going to invest in it, you can work on great rendering and really present the brand well. If you said to me who will use it well, the current things I can tell you, the automotive industry is now beginning to grasp it very well. Obviously, the fine art industry is looking at it as to how it can work, and that's already happened with Christie's and Sotheby's and other art experts moving in this area of metaverse. Rock stars and music are going to make a big deal of it, because we saw that with Roblox and with Fortnite, which are what we call gated metaverses, newly introduced phrase there in the past couple of years, but essentially they're, obviously gated developers. But they can play to 33 million people, like Fortnite did with Little Nas, or you can have Roblox doing some incredible events. So it's great for event management companies. It's great for automotive. It's great. Luxury are going to struggle a lot because you're going to have that dichotomy between a beautiful brand of great quality and build, or look and weave like Chanel, whatever it might be. And obviously I talk to a lot of these brands, and how that's actually going to look in this rendered world. And there's a lot of compromise, and not everybody's a fan of Balenciaga or Gucci running around in Roblox type poorly rendered material. But their argument is we want to play here first. We want to be there. We want to have presence. So there's a big battleground there, but it's pretty far and wide. Financial industry, don't think it really suits at the moment. But where it will become important is, as the other guys point out, is the concept of that virtual boardroom. If they believe that it's adding, I mean, yes, it's something over and above this 2D flat Zoom style, StreamYard, take nothing away from how it brings people together. But in that boardroom, the question will be is it more personal? It's never going to be face to face, but in remote circumstances, you could be doing business around the world, and you could have some form of this middle way connectivity. So all of a sudden you will find industry presenting there. But in the meantime, that's pretty much like the lay of the land.
Maybe you give a quick answer to this question about free falling. I know you've answered it online. Could you just briefly give me your comments about the cryptocurrency falling prices?
Listen, anyone who's old enough, this is a repeat of Web 1.0 and Web and 1.5. We're talking like the same issues that we had in 1998, 99, 2000, way to 2003. There's a overestimation of everything that's involved, from cryptocurrencies that have no kind of financial traction the way that fiat currencies do. And of course, NFTs were selling for crazy money, but that was more about a trend. It would, to a degree, it would have happened if this just been fiat currency. But the bottom line is, once all that excitement's gone and they settle down, I mean, I've got a big investment in Ethereum, and I've still made good money from it from when I originally bought it. It's 5 or 6 times the amount that I bought it for. Yeah, it was nice when it was higher. NFTs will long survive this little blip, but there will be new problems along the way. And the FTX situation really hit for 6 the whole industry, not Metaverse, but NFTs, and just the perception of value has just been re-registered. And you know what? Probably needed it. It was a correction.
Okay, well, I'm going to bring everybody on screen now in like a panel discussion format, and maybe get all of your views on this other question, which I'll put up on the screen. It's from Scott Church. How will the metaverse affect online shopping? So I guess, Charlotte, I think probably I'll get you to give your views on that first.
Thanks, David. Yes, no, absolutely. It's a really good question. The metaverse is going to affect online shopping in an extremely positive way, and it's going to elevate the traditional experiences that we currently have online. Elements of gamification and the immersiveness that we have to offer in these metaverse experiences will engage the customers tenfold compared to what a flat 2D e-commerce site offers currently. They are able to interact with product as well, so it means that the click-through rate in terms of conversion to sales will also be elevated and increase in a quite a large way actually. We have some incredible stats with some of our clients that prove this as well with these current live projects. So it's very, very interesting in how humans really engage and seek out these experiences. For retailers alike as well, in terms of the online business, we are able to offer analytics that you can't necessarily capture in the physical world either. In our environments, you can actually look at heat mapping to actually decipher where exactly a particular consumer is placed at any given time in the experience. So it lends itself well to support marketing campaigns, placing of hero product and your visual merchandising as well, to see which products are performing in that sense too. So from both aspects, from a consumer experience to obviously a retailer offering this to their consumers, it's going to help both parties, alongside being a very efficient marketing tool, again, simply accessible via a web browser, it's accessible on your mobile phone, PC browser. Consumers can go on, access product, and have that engaging experience, even with their friends. They don't have to physically necessarily go shopping if they can't. They can actually do it together within an experience.
I put another question up now. It's from Jane Calvert-Lee. And probably Stephanie would be the best person to answer this. Will you be able to pick up on facial expressions and non-verbal reactions around a Metaverse board meeting?
Yeah, when you use Room, yes, because it is your video feed, so it's exactly made exactly to solve that problem, right? So we were, when you think about what Shivat, our founder, did already thousands of years ago in 3D, right, and real-time gaming. So all these things, it's super difficult. Of course, you can, with the camera, read the microfacial expression and try to map it onto a 3D model of yourself, but that this looks real is still far, far away. When you want to have real, you need the video feed, and you really need to see this, like the really tiny little differences in the face. So when it's about conversations, people really still prefer real people when it's about business, right? So when it's about maybe escapism and you want to have fun, yeah, of course, avatars are great. We are not against avatars. It's just a different use case. It's like where you make serious business, where you have serious conversations, or when you see your friends, it's quite really cool to see them with all their expressions and all their emotions.
And I understand from our conversation earlier this week that you are planning to add some extra cameras into the room so that you can have different angles.
Yeah, so actually there is an Easter egg in the program already. When you hit Control B and you can, with Shift 1 to 10, you can set up to 10 different cameras in a room, and you can just switch from, when you click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can click between the cameras and you can really make a little show. So you can make even your little movie there. So that's already available, but we are experimenting and we make a lot of interviews now in Room, and we play around with the camera functionalities and make it really that you could create like your own Netflix film. But it's a conversation should feel like you are in a Netflix movie of your own, So this is where we aim for, then to make it really lifelike and amazing.
Okay, so I'm now going to ask a general question to all of you and just ask each of you in turn. So where do you think the metaverse is going to go? Meta or Facebook has invested an enormous amount of money in trying to promote or hype up what the metaverse has got to offer. So what is likely to happen with the metaverse over the next 5 or 6 years? What are going to be the key factors? Could be headset technology, the blockchain, the availability of 5G. What are going to be the critical technology factors, and where is the metaverse likely to go? Haneen, can I start with you?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think 5G is key, because still people suffering when they have this metaverse experience. Still they are suffering from the fact that sometimes the connectivity is not very smooth, the performance of the connectivity anyway. I think in terms of technology, 5G, I think it's key for the development of the metaverse in terms of technology, but also the success of use cases. Means people and companies now moving after COVID and even before COVID, because this generation, Z generation, is really more used to gaming, more used to social media, and they don't want to lose their time. I mean, crazy time just in spending 1 hour to get the office, and losing 2 hours in their life just in transport. Means the value are changing with this generation, and they are now worker. Means they are active, and they are more and more open to those new tools than their let's say parents. This is for sure. They have different way to work. They have the different way to see education. And I think with the 5G and this new generation taking more and more power inside B2B, we will see the metaverse more and more adopted, and also more and more success story.
Okay, thank you very much. We're now up against our scheduled closing time. I'm sure we could carry on this conversation for quite a long while. I think you've given a lot of value to our delegates, and I'm sure from the comments that we've had, it's been very much appreciated. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us this afternoon, taking the time to share your expertise. So I'm now going to close the session and once again, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.